You wake up. Maybe you stretch. Maybe you don't. You shuffle into the kitchen, still half asleep. You brew your coffee. Black, strong. Maybe you glance at the news, maybe you sit in silence. And just like that, that's breakfast. Sound familiar? You're not alone. This is how most men over 60 start their day, with caffeine and a quiet assumption that this is enough. But what if I told you that first sip, or more importantly, the meal you never eat, could be silently weakening your circulation? I'm not just talking about feeling tired. I'm talking about numb legs, slower mornings, and that invisible disconnect below the waist that no one wants to talk about. Let me tell you about Richard. He's 67, retired contractor. Proud, tough. He came to me because he couldn't feel his feet the same anymore. He felt heavy, physically and emotionally. And when I asked about his mornings, he said, "Just coffee, doc. I haven't had breakfast in years." That was the first clue. Because here's what most men don't realize. Your first bite, or lack of it, isn't neutral. It sends a message. To your blood vessels. To your brain. To your hormones. And if that message is missing, your entire system stays in idle. We think of breakfast as optional. But for men over 60, it's not about hunger, it's about circulatory readiness. The body needs signals to open the pipes. To relax the arteries. To release nitric oxide. To allow testosterone to do its job. And when that signal never comes, your system stays tight. Your energy stays shallow. Your presence fades. So if you've been starting your days with just coffee and calling it fuel, it's not your fault. But it is your opportunity. Because what happens next, what you eat, how you hydrate, what you give your body in those first 30 minutes, could be the difference between decline and restoration. And in the next section, I'll show you why circulation slows after 60, and how your breakfast choices either unlock it, or shut it down before the day even begins. Here's what no one tells you: after 60, your body doesn't just wake up and flow. It pauses. It waits. It checks for a signal. And if that signal doesn't come, your blood vessels stay tight, your brain stays foggy, and the areas that matter most for masculinity and movement stay offline. Let's break it down. Inside every blood vessel is a paper-thin lining called the endothelium. That lining is responsible for producing nitric oxide, the chemical that tells your arteries, relax. Open up. Let the blood move. When nitric oxide is flowing, so is your blood. And when blood flows, you feel alive, mentally, physically, intimately. But here's the problem: after 60, nitric oxide production drops hard. And so does endothelial flexibility. That means your blood vessels become stiff, unresponsive, like trying to pump water through a frozen hose. And it gets worse when mornings are ignored. Because the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day are when your body checks for direction. Are we nourished? Are we hydrated? Is it safe to open the valves? And when you skip breakfast, or drink caffeine without nutrients, or go straight into stress without support, the answer becomes no. No signal, no opening. No nitric oxide. And blood stays restricted, especially in your legs, pelvis, and brain. That's why men start noticing cold feet, numbness below the waist, slower thinking, lower drive, no morning erections. It's not just getting older, it's circulatory silence. And it starts with a skipped or unbalanced breakfast. Your blood vessels are like dry soil in the morning. They're tight, cracked, waiting. And without the right input, hydration, minerals, healthy fats, they stay dry. Nothing grows. Nothing flows. But give them what they need, and they soften. They breathe. They carry life again. In the next part, we'll break down the 3 biggest breakfast mistakes I see men over 60 make, and how each one slowly closes the door on healthy circulation, confidence, and energy. This is the most common mistake I see, and it happens in millions of kitchens every morning. you wake up. You brew a cup of coffee. You drink it. And that's it. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm not hungry, or I'll eat later. But here's the truth. When you skip breakfast, especially after 60, you're not saving time. You're starving your circulation. Coffee alone doesn't count as nourishment. It's a stimulant, not a signal of safety, not a source of healing. And what happens when your body only receives caffeine with no nutrients? Cortisol rises. Your stress response kicks in. Your testosterone goes down. And your blood vessels stay constricted. You feel awake, but your system stays locked. The energy you think you're getting? It's borrowed. And it comes with a crash. I had a patient, Don, 66 years old. He told me, I've been starting my day with black coffee for 40 years. But lately I feel tired by 10 a.m. and my legs feel heavy. I thought it was just age. We ran no labs. No medications. Just added 20 grams of protein and hydration in the first 30 minutes of his day. Within 1 week? He came back and said, Doc, I didn't realize how much I was running on empty. You see, after 60, your nervous system doesn't self-correct as quickly. It waits for input. And if the only thing you give it is caffeine, you're telling your body to power up without fuel, without flow, without repair. That's how morning brain fog begins. That's how pelvic circulation weakens. That's how you go from steady energy to slow decline, without realizing it's happening. Skipping breakfast may not seem like a big deal. But to your blood vessels, it's a red flag. To your testosterone, it's a shutdown order. To your energy system, it's a message of depletion, not support. And over time, that message becomes your reality. In the next section, I'll show you another common mistake, one most men think is healthy, but actually triggers inflammation and tightens your arteries before your day even begins. If skipping breakfast is mistake number 1, then this is the mistake that disguises itself as healthy. You think you're doing the right thing. You reach for something quick, light, easy. A piece of toast. A granola bar. A flavored yogurt. Maybe a glass of orange juice. It feels harmless. It feels better than nothing, but here's what really happens inside your body. Within minutes, your blood sugar spikes. Insulin floods your system. Inflammation creeps into your blood vessels, especially the small ones in your pelvis, your legs, and your brain. Instead of energy, you get a roller coaster. A rush, followed by a crash. A jolt, followed by brain fog, stiffness, and fatigue. And what's worse? That insulin spike tightens your arteries. It reduces nitric oxide. And it blocks blood flow right where you need it most. I had a patient named Leonard, 70 years old. He came in complaining of tightness in his legs and a complete lack of energy by noon. I asked what he ate in the mornings. He said, a glass of juice and some whole grain toast. I thought I was being smart. But his circulation didn't agree. We swapped his breakfast for something with steady fuel, no sugar, no insulin surge. And within 10 days, Leonard said, Doc, I didn't realize how much my food was working against me. Here's the hard truth. Sugar at breakfast is like throwing gasoline on a fire your arteries are trying to put out. Even healthy cereals, flavored oatmeals, fruit-flavored yogurts, or breakfast pastries, they don't support your system. They shock it. They tighten your vessels. And over time, that tightness becomes your baseline. That's why so many men say, my energy crashes by 10 a.m. My legs feel heavy. I feel disconnected below the waist. It's not age. It's inflammation. And it often starts with your very first bite. Your blood vessels in the morning are hungry for restoration. They need magnesium, potassium, healthy fats, and real protein. Not glucose spikes and empty calories. In the next part, I'll show you the third mistake, one that's sneakier than sugar, because it's not what you are eating, it's what you're missing. Sometimes the biggest mistake isn't what's on your plate, it's what's not on your plate. You may be eating something. Maybe even something low in sugar, light, or clean, but if it doesn't contain the nutrients your blood vessels actually need to open up, then you're starting your day underpowered and undersupported. Let's break this down. Your circulatory system doesn't just want calories. It needs very specific ingredients to restore blood flow, balance hormones, and reduce stiffness. And after 60? Those nutrients become non-negotiable. Here are the most common ones men miss. 1. Magnesium. This mineral helps relax the smooth muscles in your arteries. Without it, your blood vessels stay tight, and your blood pressure creeps up. Magnesium also helps support nitric oxide production. No magnesium equals no signal to open your arteries. 2. Potassium. It balances sodium and supports heart rhythm. But it also helps your blood vessels stay soft and flexible. A breakfast with no potassium means stiffer flow, less oxygen delivery, and more fatigue, especially in your legs and brain. 3. Zinc. Essential for testosterone. Critical for prostate health. And heavily involved in nitric oxide production. Most older men are deficient in zinc, especially if they're not eating nuts, seeds, or real proteins in the morning. 4. Healthy fats. Your hormones, especially testosterone, need fats to be produced. Monounsaturated fats, like those in avocado or seeds, also help reduce inflammation in the arteries. No fat equals unstable blood sugar, lower hormone output, and less fuel for your nervous system. So here's the takeaway. Even if you're eating something for breakfast, if it's not giving you these core nutrients, your body stays in survival mode. It never gets the green light to open up, circulate, and repair. And that, low energy, low libido, low drive, feeling? It continues. Let me share this. One patient, Elliot, 69, was eating what he thought was a healthy breakfast: plain toast, a banana, black coffee. That's it. But his legs ached. His energy dropped by 11 a.m. His mood was flat. We added eggs, pumpkin seeds, and a touch of olive oil to his mornings, along with hydration and minerals. And 2 weeks later, he said, "Doc, I didn't know what I was missing, until I felt like myself again." You don't need a complicated breakfast. You need a complete one. Because your circulation doesn't rely on calories, it relies on chemistry. And the right chemistry creates flow. In the next part, I'll show you exactly what that flow-focused breakfast looks like, the simple, doable, daily ritual that thousands of men are now using to rebuild energy, clarity, and confidence, starting from the first bite. So now you know what's been missing. The skipped signals. The wrong foods. The key nutrients your body was quietly begging for every morning. But the good news? You can turn it around, starting tomorrow morning. Not with a diet. Not with restrictions. But with a simple, powerful ritual that's designed to support blood flow, hormone balance, and morning energy. Let me walk you through the circulation first breakfast I recommend to men over 60 all over the country. Step 1. Warm water with sea salt, the morning primer. Before anything else, drink a glass of warm water with a small pinch of sea salt. Why? Because after 7 to 8 hours without fluids, your body wakes up dehydrated. Even mild dehydration constricts blood vessels and reduces nitric oxide output. Sea salt provides trace minerals like magnesium and sodium to stabilize your blood pressure and prep your nervous system. This step alone can improve mental clarity and reduce that stiff, slow feeling in your legs and chest. Step 2. Eat a breakfast that sends the right signal. Here's the plate. 2 soft-boiled or poached eggs rich in choline, leucine, and B vitamins, supporting testosterone and rebuilding your vascular lining. 1/2 cup of warm oatmeal, unsweetened. Add a touch of cinnamon or nutmeg if you like. Oats help stabilize blood sugar, feed your gut microbiome, and reduce inflammation. 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, a powerful source of zinc and magnesium, fueling testosterone production and relaxing blood vessels. Optional boosters. 4 ounces of pomegranate juice, unsweetened. for nitric oxide production blackberries or watermelon, for anthocyanins and natural vasodilators a slice of avocado or drizzle of olive oil, for heart-healthy fats that support hormone balance. Step 3. Eat it mindfully, not mechanically. Don't just shovel it in while checking your phone. Sit. Chew slowly. Breathe between bites. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and restore mode. And that tells your body, it's safe to open the pipes. We're not in a rush. We're here to heal. The result? Within 7 days, most men report lighter legs, less afternoon crash, more stable mood, better sleep, and yes, the quiet return of morning blood flow where it matters most. It's not flashy. It's not complicated. But it works because it honors how your biology actually functions after 60. Your body isn't asking for perfection. It's asking for consistency. A little hydration. A few key nutrients. The right rhythm. That's the correction. And in the final part, I'll show you what happens when you commit to this, not just for a day, but for a season of your life. Because circulation isn't something you chase, it's something you support. Every morning, you have a choice. To hit the button, pour the coffee, push through, or to pause. To make a new decision. One that says, I'm not just going to survive this day. I'm going to support it, because after 60, energy doesn't just show up. Confidence doesn't just return. And blood doesn't just flow. It responds to your actions. And the first action of the day? It sets the tone for everything else. You've learned the 3 biggest mistakes: skipping breakfast and spiking cortisol, eating sugar and processed carbs that tighten your vessels, forgetting the nutrients your blood flow depends on, and you've seen what happens when you make the shift. Hydration. Protein. Minerals. A plate that tells your body, we're here. We're building. We're not done. So here's what I want you to know, this isn't about chasing youth. It's about giving your body permission to work again. It's about getting circulation moving before decline becomes a habit. Because every man I've worked with, from the former athlete to the quiet accountant, had one thing in common: they thought it was too late, until they started feeding the systems that never stopped listening. You don't need another prescription. You don't need another energy drink. You don't need to force it. You need to stop blocking it. And that starts, not with a doctor, but with you, and a fork, and a few minutes of intentional fuel. So tomorrow morning, before the noise, before the phone, before you forget, drink the water. Crack the eggs. Add the seeds. Feed your flow. And then sit. Eat slow. Breathe. Because that's not just breakfast. That's your wake up. If this message spoke to you, if you're ready to stop ignoring the signal and start restoring your strength, comment circulation first below. So I know you're ready. So you know you're ready. And if you know a man who needs this, send it to him. Because sometimes one breakfast, one decision, can bring everything back. You're not finished. You're just getting started. We'll see you at the table. Let's eat for your future.